Hello everybody, welcome and thanks for joining me again. Let's take right hand in fist, left hand straight, tucking back the thumb, feet together, hands together in front of the heart. We press forwards. Lovely, let's do a little warm up. We're going to use open door 5 just to get the energy flowing. So let's open our stance to shoulder width, make sure the feet are level. Floating up through the very top of the head, the chin slightly down and back. Let's take a few moments in Wuji just to calm, release, listening down through your body. Breathe and relax. Calming down. Keep going with that, please. Luke. Good. All right. Feeling into your hands. Feeling into your fingertips, gently press down. Feel the energy awaken in the hands. We begin. Breathe and relax down into your center. And give your kidneys a little massage, gentle rub. Well done. Okay, folks, I would like you to take a few moments to go through open door 5 yourself and see if you can remember it while I make sure my kids have water to drink here. Excuse me a sec.
I put a bottle of water in. I put a bottle of water in the bowl there. Thanks.
Good, and the cat snuck in. Oh well. Hopefully she'll behave. Okay, folks, let's now go into the the Phoenix form. Have you remembered open door 5? I find sometimes a very simple sequence like that can be harder to remember than complex moves. So if you're struggling to remember it, don't worry. I had the same issue. It's just because you're so relaxed going into it that then to try and remember it can be a little difficult. But with repetition, it gets easier. Okay, so let's go into our Phoenix. We're going to go 3 times through the form. I want you to let yourself relax and flow. Do your best to get it right, of course, but don't stress if there are little places that aren't quite right. What we want you to do is to take note of those places, just a little mental note as you go, and then, of course, you can raise the problems with me. It may well be that you just make a mistake one time, but you know exactly what you should be doing. And that's fine too. It sort of highlights to you, oh, okay, this area needs a bit of attention. All right, the way through from the beginning. Heels together, please, toes apart. And let's lengthen up through the top of the head. The chin slightly down and back. We're going to take a few moments to breathe and calm down. Keep going, please, and we'll let the cat out.
Good girl. Good girl.
Good. Pressing the fingers down, calming down. Ready, start. Right hand under. Expand. This is heaven and earth rotations. Sun and moon rotations. Thrashing tide, splashing river. Mist forming pearl. Sunshine fills the whole. Immortal rides the donkey. Phoenix stretches its wings, fist comes in front of the heart, sinking the heel of the fist down. Dragon chases phoenix. Swimming dragon. Reverse pouring gourd. Phoenix greets the morning sun. Phoenix in graceful clouds of blessing. Feel the energy between your hands. Reverse, rolling clouds. Phoenix couple, return home. Return to neutral. Breathe and relax into your center. And close. Good. Recover. Well done. You may hear little doors opening and me scooting out a few times. Sorry, we have 3 kids getting ready for school, and in their sleepy state, they forget that We're actually in class. So the door opens and they go, oh, and close the door again. All right, folks, well done. So the first time is always a bit of a wake-up call for the body. It's really just kind of bringing our system online. So you can say if you do it 3 times, the first time is for the body, just to give it a reminder. The second time is for the mind, so that you can further sharpen your awareness as you practice and hone your thoughts and your focus on what you're doing. And the third time is for your spirit. It's for the sheer enjoyment of doing the practice. So let's do number 2. So this time a little bit more for the mind. Keep the mind nice and calm, relax. Just think to yourself, oh, what's next? Oh, I know what's next, and flow into it. We don't want to think many moves ahead. Just think, what's the next move? As you're doing what you're doing, think a moment before, and we're moving into this. And that allows your body the energy to seamlessly flow from one thing to the next. If you're just focusing on what you're doing here and now and not thinking at all ahead, it can become stunted. It can become a bit stop-starty because you do it and then you think, oh, what's next? Oh, right, and then start again. So think of a big long sentence with lots of commas and semicolons rather than full stop, full stop, full stop. And that way, if the energy keeps flowing because the mind keeps flowing, then the body in turn will keep flowing. Of course, first of all, just get the movements right if you can, but after that, once you're on the path to knowing what you're doing a bit more, then we're looking to experience flow. So let's give it a go. Second time. Heels together, toes slightly apart. We lengthen up. Check posture. Calming down. Feel to the fingertips. Press them down. And begin. Good. Okay, so you can't help but improve with each repetition. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. We reach plateaus and we get areas in the form where we build a little block in our minds and struggle with. But in general, if you just keep repeating, a lot of problems and questions actually just get answered by themselves, just by doing it again and again, especially if you have someone to follow that you can observe and just monkey see, monkey do, as they say. All right, so we're going to do one more time, and this time is really for the joy of doing it. So there are different ways to train. There's training for technical skill and sharpness, and there's training for the sheer joy of performing. So you can think of it in terms as training, technique, and performance. So performance doesn't just mean performing for other people, it's also performing for yourself. It is nourishment for your spirit to let go and enjoy yourself. So this idea of, dance like no one's watching and sing with all your heart. We want to express ourselves through these movements. So they're not just designed to be controlled and honed, they're also designed to be enjoyed. So think of it like you're tuning a car. You're tinkering around with the car to make it run absolutely perfectly, but then you want to actually drive it and enjoy it. So let's do this one more time, all the way through. And this time I want you to not worry so much about technique, but concern yourself with just feeling the movements and flowing in them. Of course, don't be slapdash. Do your best to embody the form, but let it flow through you, let it sing through you. Perform for your own enjoyment. All right, are we ready? Take a moment to begin calming down, letting go, listening. Press those fingers gently down. Bring your awareness into your system, into your surroundings. Ready? Start. Very good. Very good. So hopefully already you're starting to feel better. And this is the way every class, it's been described, Tai Chi has been described by Grandmaster Chen as rowing against the tide. If you keep rowing, you will definitely make progress. But every time you stop, you get gently carried back by the tide. And so that's the feeling of it. Every time we do class, we make progress. But if we don't practice every day, or if we're practicing without help, we can start to feel like we're drifting back. So if we go a week without training, when we initially start again, yeah, you'll feel a bit rusty. If you go several weeks, you may feel that you're really having to start from scratch again. But it's never the case. We always make progress, and we're never traveling up the same river twice, because it's always new water. Every experience, as we train, you have a different body. Your body is continuously changing. You're in a different space. You've had a different quality of sleep, you've had different food, you've had different experiences, you're a slightly different age. So every time we practice, we are coming at it from a unique perspective. So that means that a form that you have done thousands of times, you can still experience for the first time, every time. And that's what we call the beginner's mind. So you go into the practice fresh. You're listening and feeling to how the form is working within your body as if you've never done it before. And in that frame of mind, you can experience new awareness, and you can progress. Once we feel that we know what we're doing and that we have learned what needs to be learned, then as we practice, we're self-limiting. We can't actually experience anything new because, as the phrase goes, our cup is full. So we have to keep emptying the cup, even though you're not going back to scratch and learning it again from scratch. You're experiencing it again each time as if for the first time. So those students who feel that they know nothing about the practice, actually they will make far better progress if they keep at it and keep training than those who go, oh yeah, I've got this now. Because then you kind of switch your brain off and go on autopilot. So it's actually a really good thing if you're going, I don't know this form. That's fine, that's okay. It means that you can pay attention, focus, and listen. You're actively engaging with it rather than just going through the motions. Think of it when you were learning to drive, everything was fresh and new, and you were very conscious of every little movement that you did. But before long, you knew how to drive and you would just go on autopilot and get on with it, focusing on where you're going and possibly listening to the radio and having a chat and goodness knows what else all at the same time. So we want to bring you back to that point where you're actually concentrating on everything you're doing while having the relaxed mind of someone who has got it, who feels okay with it. Not a tall order at all, is it? Okay, folks, so let's look at the end of the form. We've gone 3 times through. Hopefully that was helpful. Now we'll look to the last section. So let's go from Phoenix greets the morning sun. We're going to do our floating down and up and our 3 big circulations and 2 more circulations with our stepping across and turning, squashing, our reverse rolling cloud, stepping back twice, turning, flipping the toes, 2 circulations level with the chest, and your Phoenix couple return home. So we're going to do that whole section. Just have a play with it, do it a few times, and then if there's any specific areas within that you want to focus in on, you can ask. Often that last step is one that people struggle with a little. It's quite complex. And this is often the way that the first move in a form is complex and the last move in the form is complex. But to me, it makes sense. The last move is tying it all together. It's like tying off a baggie. So you're sealing in the good energy. Like Lil Feng Subi, apparent close up, is often used at the end of a form or the end of a section just to seal in the energy, to contain it, to help it to resonate. Okay, so let's go from Phoenix greets the morning sun. We have our feet turned to the corner, but they're level. So if you go to horse stance, level, and then turn your toes. And we're going to sit back towards the back of the room. So our hips aren't turned to the corner. Our hips are still sitting towards the back of the room, and we're turning our waist. So that's the end of reverse pouring gourd, where we're gathering the ball, the lower section, the small part of the gourd. The hands come into the mouth, bringing the foot, and we're going to sit down and back as we raise the hands up towards the mouth and then press forwards. Point the toe down of your left, whoops, point the toe down of your left foot. So you're not tucking it back, you're just pointing downwards. Sit back, stretch forwards and up, and then release. Left hand into fist, right hand cups underneath, palms are facing up, and the palms stay facing up as you swallow down. The foot brings the hands down in front of the belly, and think of swallowing, actually swallow, which helps direct the energy down. Step open to the corner, open the hand, and we float up as if on a balloon, feeding the weight back as we come up and over, and now releasing your left foot to step and scoop. And I want you to feel the energy between your hands as if there's a bar of energy or the poles of a bowl, of a sphere. Good, and we're going to keep turning as we step the right foot across and scoop again, step the left foot to the side, and now flip the toes to the corner. Keep turning the waist to face the side and squash your little ball down. So your left hand is still on top. Now we step the left side, hand and foot come back as the right hand goes forwards. And repeat on the other side, right side back, left hand, blade pushing forwards. Flip the toes to the corner, rotating the hands as you do. Right hand over, level with the chest. Left hand over, bringing the foot. Right hand over, left hand under, and we separate, press the air apart. Swing the right hand under to cross hands facing up. Turn the waist and draw in towards the body. Left hand, your top hand, comes into fist. We untwist, let the hands unwind, and chase the fist. So if you hold that position, please, it should be like this. So it's the blade of your arm pressing forwards, and the back hand not touching, but supporting, coming behind. So I always think like you have a shield and your arm through the hoops of the shield and you're pressing forwards. Good. So now we release and expand. Left up, right down, and the same movement on the other side, but it is getting smaller. So we turn the palms to face up, left hand is under, we turn, and as we turn, we step diagonally forwards, come in towards the body, top hand, right hand comes into fist, and we untwist and chase the fist with a little half step. Release and expand, turn to the front, and step open, deep breath, guiding the energy down through the center line to the dantian. So the hands hover at waist height. Relax those shoulders, relax the elbows, feel the energy returning to your center. And point to the floor and close. Good. Okay, so let's do that again, that whole section, and then we'll maybe a couple of times, and then we'll do some problem shooting. Okay, so from your reverse pouring gourd, let's Try and get as close to you as possible. I'm still in the screen. Okay, ready? So we scoop. And hand brings the foot, come up. Sit the body back and down, hands forwards and up, yin and yang. In, left hand in fist, facing up, right hand underneath. Swallow down, step open. Float up and over. Feel a connection between the two hands as you do your 5 scoops. 1, 2, 3, step across. 4, step to the side. 5, flip the toes, turn the waist, squash the ball down, and step back. Left side back, step back, right side back, turn, turn. Right hand over, left over, and split. Swing, cross hands, turn, in, chase the fist. There's your shield, release. Swing, turn and step into the body. Make a fist, chase the fist. Expand. And go. Good. Okay, let's do it again. This time, I'm not going to say anything. I just want you to relax and follow. See how you get on, and then we'll do any little problem shooting. Okay. Might just lower the angle a wee bit so I can come closer to you. About there. Okay. Are we ready? Good. Well done. Okay, so you may notice I always give it a moment or two back in center. And that's not for dramatic effect, it's to allow your energy to settle. It's allowing you to have that time to actually check your posture. It's amazing the habits we get into. If we're doing a lot of standing practice, helping our posture and alignment, we start to get into better habits and let go of sort of little hitches and lifts that we might just be doing. It's not natural, but it happens, you know. Natural posture is actually perfect posture, except we don't really live very natural lives, you know, using technology for huge huge amounts of the day for sitting still or in one position for a very long time. It's not natural, but it's what we have come to do. So when we return to neutral position at the end of the form, it gives you another opportunity to check your alignment, check your posture, and breathe and release and relax into it, allowing your energy to sink, to settle, to calm, and allowing the benefits of the practice to really start to fully express themselves. If you don't do Wuji, stillness practice, before and after your practice, you're doing yourself out of a lot of the benefits. They'll still be there, but they'll be less obvious, more dilute. So stillness creates space for the vibration, for the expression of the practice to fully unfold and integrate into your system. So it's never a waste of time. It's never laziness to be still and quiet and listen. That's very different from just collapsing on the sofa and watching television and zonking. That can be an important part of life too. But stillness, quiet, nothingness practice or Wuji practice is tantamount. It's so important to balance out the movement. So you have stillness and movement creates balance. Only doing action, thinking I've got to help myself get better and doing all these actions, that won't necessarily fully help because it's not balanced by inaction. So we have to have stillness in order to make sense of and give space for the benefits of your actions to unfold. If you only ever do stillness and never do action, again, you get stagnation, you don't get balance. So it's important to do a bit of both. So when I'm chatting away to you like this, I want you to go into good posture, breathe and relax and let go. This is an opportunity for you to practice the listening aspect, letting go and listen. So it's not just me blethering on, it's an opportunity for you to decompress and let the benefits unfold. So don't be tempted to sit down and drink and have a biscuit or whatever, unless you really need to. Pay attention, but keep good posture, keep letting go. Okay, folks, are there any questions? Is there any area that you particularly want to polish or refine or sort out? Do ask, now's your time.
Hi, swiveling your feet, okay? So I'm trying to do you do both at once, or can you do one and then the other? Because I'm losing my balance.
Mm-hmm. Are you losing your balance when you do one and then the other?
Just so, for instance, okay, where you've done scoop here, okay, and your feet are here, both going that way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do both feet? Do you do the left one first and then the right one, or do you try to do both at the same time?
Really good question. Okay, so I know when Willem teaches, he allows for you to move them at the same time, but I don't. It's in my opinion, well, it's not just in my opinion, it's what we call Tai Yin and Tai Yang. It's 2 yin and 2 yang. So if you do both at the same time, you're not creating balance. Everything's the same. And so it's more difficult. So in my opinion, never flip the toes at the same time. Willem allows it, but I have a feeling that you have the capacity to move them one at a time. So why wouldn't you? Because it brings a sense of balance. If you flip your toes, boom, boom, then always one foot is planted as the other is lifted. So you have yin and yang. So one at a time is better. In my opinion, it's better. However, we want a feeling of the two being part of one movement. So if you imagine that you have an elastic band between your 2 feet, so as you start to turn one foot, you're stretching the elastic band, which gives a tug so the other pulls. So it means that the action, think of the elastic band creating a unity between the 2 feet. So as one goes, the other tugs. And so by the time you've finished the movement, everything finishes pretty much at the same time. So we want a feeling of unity, out, in. However, it's just as good, you're saying which one goes first. You can also go in, out. So it's a feeling almost like you're compressing and then the other one wants to release. So you can go in, out, that's just as good. We call this pigeon toe position, ba stance, 8 position, because the figure 8 in Chinese is written like an upside down V. It's the toes pointing in. So you can do that. You can go in and then out. And it's the same. You're either stretching and bouncing to follow, or you're compressing and releasing. So in, out, or out, in, either way is fine. But I would not ever recommend the lifting them both at the same time and turning. It's just not balanced. If you play with it, actually do it deliberately. Lift off your toes and turn and put the foot down. You can do it. You know, you can probably, with a bit of practice, make it quite good. But why would you, when it's so much easier and more naturally balancing to turn one at a time? So try going out and then in. Ready? Turn, out, in. Easy. So notice I'm not going out, put the foot down, oh, and now I move my foot in. It's an urge. The front foot or the first foot goes and it tugs the other. So they pretty much finish at the same time. And try the other way. Tug and the other foot follows and relax down. Tug and the other foot follows. So you can actually play with this. It's a sort of mastery in itself, just to get this feeling of transition. So that's going first with the leading foot, with the foot in the direction you're going to. And that's absolutely fine. That's a lovely one. That tends to be how I do it. And it tends to be how Willem does it as well. But there is that moment where you have this kind of slightly uncomfortable open position. But it's so transitory, it's so momentary that you wouldn't notice it. And as I say, tug, the other foot already starts to follow. Tug and follow. So practice it and try and get a feeling of unity. So even though they're not going at the same time, there is a feeling that it's one move. Budum. Budum. See what I mean? Budum. Okay, now try it the other way. Go in with one foot and then out in the direction you're going. Budum. The same idea. We don't want to go in and then out. That's 2 moves. We want in, out. In, out. Kind of like, you know, those executive toys with the balls that hit each other? So as soon as one ball hits the other one's already responding. That's the feeling of it. In, out, that they are interconnected. They're moving as one unit, just expressing at either end. So we want the flow of energy to be seamless. In, out. In, out. So I want you to play with it and you can decide which one you prefer. You may effortlessly skip from one to the other as you go through the form. There's a few times where we turn our feet like this. So sometimes if you feel like it, you can go in, out, and at other times you can go out, in. The driving force of your feet turning is what? What's moving your feet?
Hips.
Say again?
Your hips.
Your hips. Yeah, you could say your hips, but not really. No, if you're thinking of your hips, you're thinking of this part, the rotation. It's not. It's close to it. It's here. It's your dantian. All movement, I'm going to bash this into you with a big inflatable hammer. All movement in Tai Chi comes from center, comes from the dantian. Actually, there are 3 dantians. There's the lower dantian here, and that's where we pretty much always move from. So all rotation, think of it like your compass. You know, you've got your pin and your pencil. The pencil moves, so your feet moving or the pencil, the movement is driven from your center. Now, of course, your hips are physically very close to your center. So it's a good guess, a good thought that it's going from the hips, but it's not going from the hips. The movement travels through the hips, but it's from here. We want to think of this guiding it. This is the pivot point. This is your fulcrum, right? Not on the outside of your belly, but right in the middle, between the front and the back, between the sides, right in the middle. That is the pivot point that turns. And if you move that point very, very tiny amount, you move miles by the time you get to your feet. So that's the driving point there. So whether you're going in and out or out and in, you're going from center. Okay, and it's not just some esoteric concept. It's a physical fulcrum. It's a physical pivot point, but it's very subtle. It's not that you're doing these massive twisty movements from your center. You're not. Just think of the pin with your compass. The pin sticks into the paper and stays in that point, but it rotates on that point. You wouldn't see the rotation on the pin, but you see the effect of it on the pencil. And that's the same with this. You're turning from center, and that has this massive drive. You feel your whole body turn and your toes turn. Your whole body turn and toes turn. Of course, we're actually wanting to keep the hips quite steady. We're keeping the hips square to the front. However, we are turning our center, which turns our toes. It creates a vortex, it creates a twist that goes down into our feet. Okay, hopefully that clarified that. Is that any better? Yeah, happy days. Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Good, thank you. Any other questions?
Any questions? Could we do the last little bit from facing?
Yeah, that's the movement that most people struggle with, is the end of the form, the Phoenix and graceful, the Phoenix couple return home. I'm going to come up close to you and show you the front view of it. So I'm actually going to mirror it just so that you can see the hands. I know when I have my back to you, it's quite hard to see. So you have done your stepping back, and you've done your turn, and you've done your two rolls over and over, bringing the foot in. You're going to step to the diagonal and press the arms apart. And turning to look to the back hand, we're going to swing the back hand all the way under, turning the waist, and both palms turn to face up. So that whole time, as you're moving, both hands are moving, but one hand is swinging in a big movement and the other is simply turning. Okay, so let's do that again. We've pressed apart, and we just swing and turn. So the palms are facing up, and it's your right hand underneath. I'm mirroring you. Now, our weight is pretty much forwards. If you twist your waist, you'll feel, without deliberately shifting your weight at all, you'll feel your weight is slightly more on the back foot now. Wherever you turn, you tend to shift your weight in that direction. That's fine. Now bring the hands in towards you, and the top hand, your left hand, curls into a fist. So it's not right against your body, but it's more towards you. Now untwist, turning to face the front, and let your hands unfold. So now we have a bar across with the eye of the fist, the outside eye of the fist, pointing forwards, and the other hand is behind. Your right hand is behind. Level with the fist, level with the wrist, doesn't matter too much. We're going to press forwards and bounce the back foot halfway in. It's that same feeling as what we've just done with turning one foot, turning the other foot. As we press forwards, the back foot will want to come in a bit, but just halfway. Don't let it go all the way closed. It's not here, it's halfway. So you should feel nice and stable. Now we do the same on the other side. So we open the fist, and that hand goes up. Your right hand going down, and this is smaller this time. So the first time was quite big. This time we're creating a vortex coming inwards, so it's a smaller rotation. Your right hand coming up and turning to face up, your left hand scooping all the way under. So we finish with both palms facing up, right hand on top. We're going to turn towards the front, and as we turn, that drags that back foot forward. So we're stepping diagonally forwards, drawing in towards the body, and again, the top hand curls into a fist. As we untwist the body, we untwist the arms, And again, we create that shield effect with the open hand behind the fist, and we press forwards to the corner, taking half a step. Think of bracing yourself in all directions. So fill your back, fill your small of your back, your waist. Think of closing, that you are sealed into a tight space, like you're vacuum packed. Good. And now release, open the fists and step diagonally back. Expand, turning to the front. Bring that foot in and open to shoulder width, relax down. And finally, we do a little expansion. And I just want you to feel for the energy pooling in your hands. Good. And now up, deep breath, and follow your energy as it sinks and releases back to center. We just pause there for a moment, check your posture. Top of the head floating up, chin down and back. Are your shoulders relaxed to the sides? Are your elbows relaxed? Do you still feel energy, liveliness, awareness in the hands? Notice how the energy is guided back into the center. The lower dantian in here. Good, point to the floor and close. Good. All right, so we're going to, next week, we'll have another look at that end section of the form, and I'll do it with you back facing as well. It just takes time. I think it's very like you're drawing the yin yang. So many of these movements are, you can see forwards, let me see. So there's the circle. You're drawing the outside of the circle. Now think of the yin yang being flat on a table, and there you're drawing a fish. The fist is the dot, and then you turn and chase. And then you do the other side the same way. So you're drawing vertical, and then horizontal. There's your dot of the other side of the fish, and press. So it's a really beautiful three-dimensional yin yang. And just at the end, we're gathering our energy, stretching it out once more, and directing it back to center. Very good, folks. Well done. Let's have a little shake out. Let's have a little twist, patting the body down to the legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet. Just check everything, make sure there's no tension. Give it a bit of love. I had one teacher used to say, if you want to help yourself, hit yourself. And it's true, but hitting with love, it's a gentle pat, stimulates energy flow, helps everything to recover. What I'd encourage you to do now is have a wee walk around the house, or even pop a jacket on, go out into the fresh air. A 10-minute walk is really beautiful for refreshing your system, further calming yourself down. You can think of it as the walking equivalent of Wuji, just refreshing, calming, letting go, emptying your mind a little bit, allowing the Tai Chi to resonate, and it further helps in recovery, just to feel lovely and fresh and free of any stiffness. You're doing ever so well, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's salute. Thank you.